Welcome back, my friends, coinaholics of all ages. Thank you for taking time out of your Sunday night or Monday morning, depending on when you catch this, to check out the next episode of the Monday Market Report. This time for the week ending right smack dab in the middle of August, the 15th, 2021, baby. So welcome again. We are going to take a look at the most relevant post-1900 modern coins, all graded, of course, that have sold here in the last 7 days. Yeah, looking good, looking good. The market, I would say, is incredible. This week, of course, from Great Collections, we have one particular denomination of coin that has outperformed everybody else, and that is quarters. We got some huge quarters. We got a few of them to talk about, but boy, there were a ton of coins, guys, that have exceeded expectations. And I figured now's a good time to give you a reasonable explanation as to why some of these much more newer coins have been selling for thousands of dollars, and how you could kind of get your, I don't know, your lion's share of that portion, because I know a lot of people week in, week out have wondered, why in the freaking world are people going out and spending $3,000 on a 1990s quarter or $5,000 for a 1980s penny? Yes, a lot of great questions, and I rest assured, ladies and gentlemen, we will have answers as we go through this video. But I want to thank you guys again for joining in on this episode. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Hit that bell for instant notifications, and yeah, your support will go a long way into growing my channel even bigger and brighter, so that way I can give you bigger and brighter videos from this point forward. And as we go through the holidays, I mean, that's going to be much more important as well, because the coin market is just bonkers. If you thought it was pretty crazy over the summer, as some would not expect, the holidays, I'm sure, will be just as nuts, if not even more nuttier. 50% higher nuts in there. That's what she said. But anyways, yeah, let's go ahead and get right into it. Again, these are all graded coins, courtesy of Great Collections today. A lot of them ending today. Starting out with one of my favorite varieties, bar none. It's got to be the 1972 Lincoln Memorial set. That is the Double the Die Obverse. Just looking at the motto and Liberty and the date, yeah, some people have gone blind just staring into this coin. So, yeah, it's a pretty nice, very sought after, highly coveted double die. This is the FS 101 for those of you that are relatively familiar with the 5 Stanton scale, or attribution rather, of these varieties. And most of all, they are in cherry pickers guides, if they did exist on the secondary market, for anything reasonably priced. But yeah, those guidebooks are priceless, and so is this coin. It's a PCGS Mid-State 67 full red. Very beautiful coin. It's also CAC certified as well, so it's got the extra certification of that numerical grade, and it certainly has fit the bill for sure. This one right here, ladies and gentlemen, with all of its goodness, sold for $3,825. Yeah, this is an incredibly high grade example, but it's not the highest grade. And the 72 DDO, whether it's the FS 101 or the FS 104, these are highly investable. They will slot into a registry set if that's your thing that you dig on. But yeah, there are a couple different tiers of collectors and investors that go out and buy these coins in just about every conceivable grade. Now, I'm sure there's going to be that one collector out there that's doing a graded set, you know, from low ball, you know, fair to poor grades, all the way up to Mid-State 68, which I believe is the top pop for something like this. So why not? Yeah, go for it. The next one that we have here is, of course, the undisputed king of, I would say, doubled dies in general. Not necessarily double dies of the Lincoln Cent series, but all of them in general. This is the one that is synonymous with what a doubled die looks like in U.S. coinage. Of course, it's the 1955 Lincoln Wheat Cent DDO FS 101. Beautiful coin. Again, it's a work of art. What else can I say? I know we'd all go blind looking at it for too long, but This, ladies and gentlemen, is a coin that's highly invested in all grades. There are grades as low as like XF40 that are worth around that $1,500 mark. But this one right here is a mid-state 63 red, in spite of, a few little spots, discoloration, staining areas on the coin. For someone that needs a full red PCGS graded coin in a 63, this might be the answer. And this one sold for $4,725. It's a good looking coin. Again, I'm kind of biased because I'm more of a AU58 brown kind of guy. I just like the look of that type of coloration and wear pattern. I'm not going to shy away from one that's 63, but in terms of eye appeal, I just like something that's a little bit more worn. Because when they get to be higher grades, they are more expensive, and you become a little bit more critical in the overall appearance of the coin. Me personally, if I owned this, I would be super critical of it, to the point where I'd want to upgrade it, to like a 64, something that doesn't have, say, these little discoloration or carbon spotted areas. That's just my take. All right, so this is a coin that, no doubt about it, because of its date and its availability, it's a registry set coin. All right, it's the top graded mid-state 67 red 1953 Lincoln wheat cent, graded by PCGS, of course. And again, this is a coin that's much tougher than it looks. Usually any Philadelphia struck early 50s Lincoln wheat cent, it can be kind of a challenge, only because the quality control on these specific very short set of coins was virtually non-existent at the mint. All right, so a lot of coins exhibited some of those heavy planchet nicks. Sometimes they would just have bag marks in them. They weren't really taken care of too well. Now, there's going to be the off chance that you'll come across one that is incredibly clean, that doesn't, appear to have anything distracting in terms of its eye appeal. But this one right here, pretty nice, sold for $2,055.38. With nothing really else going for it. Again, I would never invest in a coin like this, nor add it to my collection just to have it. This is strictly for one of those registry sets on PCGS or NGC, and that's the only reason why you would buy something like this. And the same goes for this one here too. Although it's a 1948 and it is graded in an old holder NGC slab, it's a mid-state 67 red, so it certainly fits that criteria of a registry set coin. But it is what it is. Yeah, it's either you want this for your registry set or you don't buy it at all. I mean, that's kind of my personal opinion on these type of modern era, very common high mintage coins, where you're really going for the gauntlet and trying to get the highest graded example. Okay, and that only appeals to one group, the registry set crowd. This one right here sold for $1,253.25. Based off of its price, yeah, it seems kind of high, but, it's not higher than that. Only because this is a rather common date, and there are a number of these at mid-state 67. Plus, even though it's in an NGC older, quote-unquote, holder, it does knock it down a few pegs in terms of its value. People want a coin like this in a 67 through PCGS. Now, it's been quite some time since we talked about a 43 Steely, but we have one here. This is a Philadelphia struck example. It's an NGC mid-state 68 plus. So it's a stunner right out of the gate because of that numerical grade. We've seen quite a few 67 pluses, 68s, and 68 pluses out in the marketplace over the course of the last 12 to 18 months, that you would think that the price of these coins would drop down over time, but they just haven't. Even one that's graded in an NGC holder in the 68 plus commands quite a bit of money in the secondary market. This one managed to achieve $4,725. And the final penny of the bunch for this week is going to be a sneaky good 1936S. All right, so Yeah, San Francisco mint marks generally tells people, oh yeah, it's a little bit more rare, right, than your average bear. Not so. During the 1930s, specifically 1935 and up, with the San Francisco mint mark, you know, there are quite a few of them out there in much higher grades. Compared to, say, Philadelphia, where I feel like, there's not nearly as many high quality Philadelphia struck Lincolns out there during the 30s and 40s. I don't know. That's just me. But when I've found a 36S I needed for my collection in a high mid-state grade raw, they always seem to be available. All right, and they're all relatively clean. This one looks pretty good too. This one is a mid-state 67 plus full red. It's also CAC certified by PCGS. And this one, ladies and gentlemen, brought $6,751.12. Just a meteoric amount of money for a coin of this caliber. So if you got one like this, you might want to consider sending it to one of the graders in the hopes it comes back a 67 or 67 plus. It's kind of a tough gamble because, anything that grades lower than a 67 will automatically make the coin not worth as much money. But, the prospect is there. If you could make $5,000-$6,000 by sending off 5 or 10 examples of this one date, why would you not try it? At least, right? So, yeah, pretty nice coin. And again, it's a registry set coin all day long. On to our 5-cent coins we love so much. And we do have a few Jefferson nickels. Now, these are quite nice. This one is a 1940D. Denver minted examples are much more well struck than any other mint type. This one is an NGC mid-state 67 plus 6 full steps. Now, this is one of those dates that's quite easy to find with the fully struck reverse, okay, where you have the full steps. This one, no exception. This one sold for $1,096.88, whereas if you found, say, a 55 or 55D that looks like this with this kind of luster strength, that's going to be a coin that's worth 10 times the money. So, again, 1940, PDRS, kind of easy to find, well struck, and fully lustrous. So, this one right here, I would imagine would go into a registry set. And probably this one as well. However, this one is a little bit tougher, 39S. And to help compound things a little bit, it also has the reverse of 1938. Compared to the reverse of 1940, this one has what they call the wavy steps on the center set of steps on Monticello on the reverse. This one, however, grades out PCGS mid-state 67 full stepper, a much tougher kind of key date in the annals of the grading system. And the population numbers, these are quite light. And the pricing shows this one sold for $3,862.50. We do have a couple Buffalo nickels, although there are a few more out there on Great Collections that's sold here this evening that you guys probably should take a look at. Here is a relatively common date, 1935S. All right, so we got another San Francisco here, 1930s, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco minted Buffalo nickels. I wouldn't say necessarily grow on trees, but they are a lot more available raw and in high mid state. So this is, I would say, if you're looking for a series where you could just sink your teeth into it, as far as grading, 1930s Buffalo nickels has been one of those kind of like target short set series that I like to dabble in. Just based off of that prospect alone, just the opportunity to find a nice high-grade example, pay under $100 for it, send it off to the graders, and if it comes back like a 67 or higher, I mean, you are good as gold, and you are going to make some gold money out of this. This particular example right here sold for $1,968.75. Again, I would say this is a registry set coin. It's way too common of a day to just buy this to add to a collection or an investment portfolio. Okay, so we do have a couple buffaloes. I would say kind of clear that just investment, or not so much investment, but the registry set appeal to it. I think these will fit many different types of buyers or collectors. This is a 1918D, any branchman D or S coin of the teens. Graded this high is just spectacular. This is a PCGS Mid-State 66. It's also a Sunset Collection piece. Great Collections is doing that again this week. And this one, my friends, sold for $5,906.25. This is a good looking coin right here. And the same goes for this one as well. I'm always partial to this particular date because I find 1917s raw for a reasonable amount of money. Now, they go up to probably $200 to $250, but I've cherry-picked a few of them myself that I am confident would grade relatively high. One day I'll probably end up sending those off to PCGS along with the other 200 coins I have set aside for this endeavor. But this one right here is an out-of-the-box Mid-State 67, just beautifully well-struck, lustrous. It's commensurate of any early dated Buffalo nickel that you'll find. Usually they're all well struck. This particular example sold for $4,846.50. So that wraps up the good old 5 pennies, 5 nickel, 5 cent piece. We only have 1 dime this week, but that's okay. We're going to make up ground in the quarters section with a couple big bombs. How about 1936D? A date and mint that we don't typically talk about here on the Monday Market Report, but we have this beautiful high-end specimen PCGS Mid-State 68 full bands. So when it has the FB on there, you better believe it has a full strike. It's got the well-defined split, especially right here in the middle that goes left to right all the way to the ends. But this is a beautiful coin. Again, probably better suited for a registry set just based off of how high up the ladder that this one is numerically. This one right here, I'm happy to say, sold for $4,893.75. That is a lot of beef on this burger that we call this 1936D Mercury dime. Such a huge coin, such a huge fan favorite, because Adolph Wyman just knocks it out of the park, baby, when it comes to early U.S. type design. All right, you guys are going to have questions about this coin because it's the highlight coin of the week. We have a 1993, right? I mean, come on. Not that far removed, 28 years ago? I was a very young teenager at the time, but we have this 93D. And I'm going to tell you this right now. When it comes to 1990s coins in general, it doesn't matter what denomination. I would say you can even throw in various different types of world coins like Canadian and all that great stuff. This is an incredibly underrated series or date range. 1990 all the way up to 1999. And here's why. The big reason why is that these coins were never held onto. Very rarely do you find 1990s dated anything in sealed rolls. Now, the one exception might be a number of different Lincoln cents that can be found in full rolls. Outside of that, you won't find too many Jefferson nickels. And believe me, guys, just go ahead, go on eBay, go on TerraPeak, and look at sold listings. Nickels, dimes are incredibly scarce for full roll 1990s. Quarters. Washington quarters, all the way up to 1998. Of course, we all know 1999 was a breakthrough kind of year because we had the start of the statehood quarter program, which all the way back to like 1997, the people that were in the hobby in 1997 knew about the upcoming statehood quarter program, and it was flying all around. I was going to say social media, but unless you did AOL chat back then, a lot of the talk back in the day, 12 to 18 months prior to the release of the first quarter, which is at Delaware, people were talking about the statehood quarter program. And guess what happens? all of the pre kind of like workup type of dates, 96, 97, 98 Washington quarters, nobody gave a care about those. So what did they do? They just spent them. They didn't hoard any rolls, nothing like that. The overall collecting mentality was a little bit different. All right, it's not like 1964 where like the outgoing coin is 90% silver and then we all have to hoard it because it's going to go to junk. This copper nickel clad composition that we were hearing about 60 years ago. That's not the case here. People just fell out of favor of these 1990s quarters, with exception of the first year of the statehoods. So with that being said, anytime something like this comes up, this is an incredibly rocket ship style of coin. Because of the registry set and what it means to numismatics today, that's the biggest reason, that's the biggest part as to why these coins are beginning to get such incredibly high praise, because they are tough to find, they're tough to find clean, and they're tough to find in a top pop. This is a 67 plus, which I would say in today's standards seems a little bit pedestrian. You put a 67 plus up against any kind of like modern era of quarter that normally would grade like 68, and you would think this one is just, small potatoes. But this one will fit into a registry set, no problem. This one is also part of the Erasmus Hall registry set of quarters. So this was a broken up registry set by Erasmus Hall on PCGS. And he's selling all of his finest material on here. And we've seen that the last number of weeks. This one sold for $3,152.25. And the next one that we have here is just a really original 1961D. All right, this is a 90% silver Washington quarter. This one grades out NGC, Mid-State 67 plus. Now, if you're not a fan of the toning, that's understandable. But the toning is like keeping the original seal on an old vintage Nintendo video game. You crack that seal, it's worth a whole heck of a lot less. Whereas if you kept the seal on there, you kept the toning on the coin, and you don't dip it or anything, you're going to enhance the value multifold, exponentially, if you guys have heard that before. This one right here is going to be a beautiful addition to a registry set, and it's sold for $2,787.62. It's a very common date, yeah, but at the same time, it's also one of the toughest to find in anything above Mid-State 66. Just bar none. Tough, low quality control. These coins stunk it up in terms of quality over the years. We got a couple quarters left. We got 59. All right. Again, it's got that original toned skin on there. That's a keeper. Make sure you keep it on there if you want to sell it. PCGS Mid-State 67, just a huge high-end piece. I bet this thing looks better in person. I'm not always a huge fan of the spotty olive green, darker type of toning, but again, it's the seal of approval that collectors and registry set people are looking for. This one realized $5,290.88. But that all pales in comparison to the final coin on the list, which is just a beauty. This is the 1917S Standing Liberty Quarter. As you can see on the slab label, it says Type 2, which simply means this is the Type 2 reverse. It has the 3 stars underneath, and then you have the covered chainmail breast area of Lady Liberty. This one is a Mid-State 67 full head example. It's very well struck, and it looks the part. And it's part of the North Shore collection. Wanted to also bring that up because it's on the slab label. Beautiful coin. Super high end. This is going to be a coin that will end up staying in some sort of portfolio for an indeterminate amount of time, because it is just that crazy looking. This one sold for $27,547.88. For extra measure, 88 cents. And yeah, there's really nothing else to say. I mean, this thing sold for as much as a much rarer 1916 Standing Liberty Quarter, and probably a Mid-State 64. It's that much of a game changer, and Type 2s are generally kind of, not as well collected as the type 1s because people love the exposed breast and the missing stars reverse. And the eagle is set and designed a little bit lower, closer to the $quarter on there. But yeah, incredible way to cap off this week's Monday Market Report. And I hope you guys feel the same way too. I would love to hear your opinion. What's your favorite coin on the list this week? And I want to thank you guys for all of your support of my channel. It's been kind of a very hectic summer season. I wish I could do more videos, but with wildfires and all that stuff going on here in the great state, or not so great state of California, that remains to be seen. It's really put a damper on some of the things on my end, and I have allergies like you would not believe. So I'm having a little bit of a difficult time. We will be on tomorrow, Monday night, for the live coin Q&A live stream. We actually took a week off just to kind of gather our bearings as a team. But we will be back on tomorrow evening to address some of your coin questions. So if you do have an inquiry, go ahead and send it to us. And that's at info@livecoinqa.com. And feel free to check out our website as well and our Facebook page. We are also on there too. Our website, by the way, is livecoinqa.com. Well, I hope to see you later tonight or later tonight if you're watching on Monday, of course. You guys take care. Don't work so hard today. And yeah, like, share, subscribe, hit that bell. I'm Sean, and you've watched the Monday Market Report for the week ending August 15th, 2021. You guys take care. Enjoy the rest of your summer, and I will see you on the next coin video. So long.